Hi, Kathy.
How are you?
Good. Long time no talk. Yeah,
Oh,
today's been kind of a day where I've been on Zoom a lot, so I'm like, I'm getting a little goofy here, like staring at the computer so much.
well, I've worked the phones all day, trying to. Are you taking Bold? We already talked about this.
Yeah,
I'll
TJ is,
yep,
but yeah.
now. That's what I've been doing. So see, I have addle brain. I've had 15 conversations on the phone. Uh, oh,
Getting myself set up. It's the first time I've led one of these, so I'm a little nervous, like to get things lined up.
we're all nice folks. We'll be nice to you.
That's true. All right.
Thank you, by the way, for signing up to lead it.
Yeah. I don't know. I figure it's good for me to push outside my comfort zone.
I've been doing quite a bit of that lately, so I get it.
Yeah.
Hi, Brandy.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. And you?
Good, good, good.
We were just on a call together too.
We were.
Well, so I was on a call with Brandy as well.
Really?
Guilty whistle. Superpower, what can I say?
He's everywhere. Hey, Ashley.
Hey.
Good to see you, lady. The office is very quiet with no people here.
I bet.
Very sad.
There is an office? I'm sure I'll see it one day. I've heard things, I know it's there. It does exist. It's not like the Easter Bunny.
Hi, Peggy. We were just on a call with her too. I feel like today is just a weird day. Like
Groundhog Day.
all right, we'll give it just a few more minutes and then we'll go ahead and get started. But today's topic, I want to talk about progress over perfection, and maybe not even so much about necessarily real estate, but just in our lives and how we're all dealing with this. And yeah, so I'll give it just a few more minutes and then we'll get started. Gotta hydrate. I feel like when I'm on Zoom calls, I'm not drinking as much because it's an awkward thing to be like, oh.
No, I don't know what my dog is going to do when I go to work every day.
Yeah, it's gonna be like culture shock. Like, where's my friend?
I think the dog might rearrange the furniture out of anger, when I finally go back to the office.
Probably rip up some shoes or something to show you who's boss. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So as I said, just initially, we're gonna be talking a little bit about progress over perfection today. And as most of you know, but maybe not, I work out of the Germantown Keller Williams office, and my husband, CJ Lewandowski, who just turned off his video, because he's at home and probably someone's climbing on him. There he is, okay. The kids are, yeah, pandemonium. So we have a real estate team, Team CJ Realty, and I am the executive assistant on the team. So we've got 2 young boys, we've got a 4-year-old and an almost 7-year-old. So honestly, mindset has been a really big part about how I'm dealing with this whole pandemic scenario. Every day, you know, I have highs. I'm like, okay, I got this. And then I also have lows where I'm frustrated or things aren't going the way that they normally are. So it's not the normal programming. It's inconvenient. And so it goes up and down. So I personally work best when I can compartmentalize different sections of my life. So, you know, work, family, working out, chores, family time. And so right now, for me, like I'm feeling like I have all these different sections of my life intertwining, and I'm not working at max efficiency. So I'm just not. I'm not getting everything done. I'm missing details that I might normally have caught. Since I deal with transaction management, there's a lot of moving pieces. And I think we have like 10 transactions right now in process, or 10, 11. So like there's a lot of moving pieces. And, you know, even for my family life, like I find myself sometimes being short with the kids. You know, I'm trying to help one kid with homework and the other kid's like yelling from the other room that he needs me to wipe his butt. You know, it's like real life, like, and so the house is a disaster. And the thing is it's okay, because right now during this time, like we really have to train ourselves to let go of the expectations that we might have had, you know, 60 days ago, because otherwise we're just stressing ourselves out. So that's why I thought this topic might be helpful, because it's where I am right now, progress over perfection. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Bye. But anyway, I hear myself. That's weird. So I hope that this kind of resonates with you. So I also think that it's important to recognize that each one of us are struggling with something right now, whether or not you have young kids, or maybe you have older kids, or kids that are adults that are living with you, or you're caring for adults, or maybe you're by yourself and, you know, you're alone, or maybe you're just with a spouse. But I think that each one of us, we're all experiencing kind of a change in our habits. Like all our normal habits are turned upside down, and we're also creating all these new habits because our normal life, you know, is not going the way that it typically does. So I just want to point that out too, because it's not really, like I talk about my kids a lot and how it's frustrating for me because that's what I know. But like, I feel like it's not a competition on who's got things the hardest right now. We are all like literally having our habits turned upside down. So what I'd really love to do is go through like a series of topics and just talk about changes to your normal routines and how you're embracing progress over perfection. Because I feel also that hearing other people and what they're going through adds value for me, that I, you know, number one, I'm not alone. And number two, like I could get little tidbits from each of you, and we get to be part of a community of people that are like-minded. So with that really long explanation, I thought that we could maybe talk about, all right, first, so like, have you guys been doing anything different, like creating something to look forward to? Like maybe like, oh my gosh, my phone is just vibrating off the hook. I'm sorry, it's distracting me. Do you guys have maybe special desserts or something that your family or you look forward to now? Or what are some ways you guys are creating something to look forward to other than 40 days in the future?
Well, one thing I'm doing is We are, sorry it's so noisy, to, make a point to, I'm working in the toy zone, so, oh my God. So what I'm doing is every Thursday, we're doing like a eat local, so we're getting takeout from somewhere in Waukesha or wherever that is a locally owned place and ordering dinner from them. And so I look forward to supporting them, but also not having to cook, because like getting to Thursday is like, woohoo. So that's super nice to not have to worry about making dinner. So once a week, we do that.
I love that. I should probably.
Kids everywhere.
Yeah.
Kids everywhere.
Really, I'm at McDonald's.
One thing that we did that has been amazing, we have a Zoom dinner and cocktails with family every Saturday. And it started out just on Easter, getting everybody together. We have 7 birthdays from April 1st to April 12th. Mine was on Easter. And we all decided that we had so much fun and it was so good to see everybody, even from other parts of the country. So we just set it up. I sent out an invite, and every Saturday I get to see my niece that's in law school that's locked down in Chicago, and another one that's in the Navy that's in Alexandria, Virginia. And everybody gets to see everybody, and it's just, we have had a blast.
That is really cool. How long do they usually go?
About an hour and a half.
Okay.
You know, the girls are adults now. My 2 nieces and my nephew that lives in Madison. So they have their favorite cocktails made, and, everybody just chats, and my mom and dad are on. I taught my mom virtually how to use Zoom on her laptop. So I have my 83-year-old mother and my 85-year-old dad on there. And we just laugh and talk. It's really cool. That's the highlight of my week.
That is awesome. I love that you tied your family into it too.
Yeah. We need to see each other, even if it's virtually. Unfortunately, my grandkids don't hang out very long, so I don't get to see them on the screen because they're little and they're running around, but at least I get to see them and say hi. So it's good. It's really good. That's helped a lot.
I'm just glad my mom learned how to do emojis. It's been kind of entertaining. She's had all this free time with her smartphone that she's still learning how to use instead of a landline. So it's been entertaining.
I love that. It's like when my mom first got her first smartphone and learned how to text. I probably got 50 of them a day from her. I'm like, Mom, I'm working. Stop it. So I thought of something and I wanted to let you know. But it was so fun. It's good. But yeah, it's good because she's communicating with you.
Yes, and it is kind of entertaining. There's certain ones that she'll send, and I told my sister, I'm like, I'm not telling Mom what that means. And my mom is only 64. I mean,
and it came in at 180.
Not real big on technology.
Color countered at 185.
All right. Is there anybody else that has anything that they like to, any new habits about creating things to look forward to before I move to the next one? Another one that I actually do that's funny is I do count down, like, so I count down, I've got it on my mirror at home, so every day I cross it off, because even if we get released sooner, like, then it'll be a positive surprise. So, and I also like look at my vision board because it reminds me that like this is not forever. So, next, how about carving out time to work? Anybody have anything they want to share about what you've been doing to create new habits around that?
I've been trying to call local businesses, and some of the response I'm getting is just kind of like, oh, okay. But I had one, and it's a place we normally go, and I called just to say, hey, hi, it's me. How are you? And it was she's like, oh, you're a realtor now. So okay. Did you want to order anything? And I was like, maybe later. Click. Look up. Okay.
But you know what, Brandy? I mean, the fact of the matter is that you are thinking outside of the box. You picked up the phone, and you know there are statistics out there. You've heard everybody say it that you get a positive connection or lead. You know, like maybe 1 out of 10. So don't let that dispel you or keep you from forging ahead, because there is someone when you are making calls that will need to hear from you, that will be glad that you called. And kudos for picking up the phone and you know, trying to move forward.
Thank you. It's just, I wasn't sure how to respond to that. All I heard was crickets.
Well, there you go. Progress over perfection.
Yes.
At least you picked up the phone. I mean, that's like half the battle.
Yes.
Good job.
I mean, the main thing for me is if I get out of routine, then you're not going to get 100% productivity out of Kathy Whitaker. So I've got to get up and pretend like I'm getting in the car and going to go to the office. And I made a commitment that whenever I get on calls in the morning, that I haven't given myself permission to not show what I look like, which means that I have to I have to be paid and I have to be presentable. And then the mindset follows that, okay, it's no different than if I was at the office and now I've got to get to work. And I do much better with an agenda. So I have always written down things that I want to get accomplished today. And there's a great level of satisfaction in being able to scratch them off on the list. And that's still important even at home.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And in the beginning, I didn't do that either, Kathy. And now I make sure I'm on the 7 o'clock shift call, the 9 a.m. script call, but I am showered, had breakfast, and dressed before I do that. Because if I don't, I have no motivation to do anything. You know, I don't feel like it. And so that once I started doing that regularly, that made a huge difference. And I do, Kathy, too. I have an agenda. I actually have my time block. And there are days that you don't do it all. I mean, I write down, my agenda, my to-do list, things I need to get done. But I also prioritize them. And this came from my coach, because we feel bad when we have 10 things on the list and we only got 3 done. We don't see progress over perfection. We see failure. We didn't do what we wanted to do today. And so I have on that 4 quadrants that we've talked on other calls, urgent and important, urgent but not important. I have color coded everything on my to-do list in the morning. And if I get the things that are urgent and important done, to me, that's a success. I might have 7 other things on the list, but I had to change my thinking because I kept looking at it too, going, I have all this and I didn't do it. And, because you just run out of time with everything that's going on. So that's helped a lot.
And the other thing, and I'll add, and then I'll yield the floor and won't get back on. The other thing that I'll add is that for me, having an office, I'm known, I call it pollinating all the flowers. When I first get in, and Abby and everybody that's there early in the morning know, I'll make a lap all the way around the office, and it's like, good morning, how are you? So I cannot not get on something in the morning that I can see familiar faces. That's a very important component for me to connect with my people virtually. Just for a sense of camaraderie in moving forward. And then I feel like, okay, there's my people. And now I have a job to do. And then the next day I get to see the same smiling faces. But that means a lot to me, the camaraderie and connecting visually with people, since I can't do it personally.
I totally agree with that also. Like I feel now one thing that I've done a little differently is I've laid off my weekends a bit, and so I haven't been working during the weekends. So when Monday comes around and like I get, I'm on the 7 o'clock call, I'm dressed, I'm ready, I've got my normal routine, I feel like I'm just dialed back in. And if I didn't have that, I don't know what, I mean, really, I would just be in this state of blah, I don't know, not productive. So I think getting dressed, seeing other people, and that is why I'm on these calls, is because I like to see all of you people and listen to what others are doing. So much value.
Energy has always been contagious. And so that's why it's good to surround ourselves with positive energy and then feed off of that, because energy has always been contagious.
All right, anybody have anything else they want to share about carving out time to work or anything like that?
I love what you said, Chris, about like just highlighting like the things that are like super important. I love that idea. Like that's definitely something that I'm going to look to do 100%. I think that's a really it's a good visual. And yes, it makes you feel like you're like, okay, I did accomplish stuff today. I haven't changed my clothes, but I did accomplish something today. And I definitely think that's important. So thank you for sharing that. That's definitely something I'm going to start doing.
Welcome. That was a big aha from my coach.
Yeah.
She's like, no,
Mhm.
you're not failing.
Yeah.
How many things did you have on your list that you did get done? Celebrate those small successes, but
Yep.
make sure you choose the ones that are most important or urgent. And if the rest of them don't get done, well, the rest of them, she says, you should either be leveraging or they're not important and you should just take them off your list.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how
That was one thing in my 411 with Scott. I had a ton of things on my 411 and he was like, no, like this needs to be like 3 things. And I was like, what do you mean? So, but that was helpful though. And it echoes sort of what you're saying too, in regards to like just the most important things that need to get done this week. So it's just like reinforcing what we talked about earlier this week. So, and alcohol has been helping me personally.
All right, and you know what, honestly, like thinking about something to look forward to, like, sometimes like I have cocktails on weekends now, like that. I look forward to it. I work really hard during the week. Like I bust my butt and I'm like, oh, guess who gets a break? Okay. Next thought was about exercise or getting outside, our normal routine. Maybe you normally go to a brick and mortar gym, or maybe you don't, or maybe you want to get in shape. And I don't know, I just thought, what are some habits that you guys are maybe starting to create around just exercise or taking care of yourself?
I unsubscribed from Weight Watchers. So, and they closed our gym in our buildings. So that's kind of all stalled for me right now.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. Your habit going to the gym in that building, like
I'm not saying I went a lot.
We had to change, my husband and I, we had to change around our schedule because he switched from working first shift to second shift with all of this. So he watches Mason in the morning, and then I have Mason in the afternoon through the night then. So I was used to working out in the morning, and now he works out in the morning. So I'm working out at night, but it's super important for us. I mean, it's just, it's ingrained in me to do that and to just move my body in general. So I'm doing it at night now instead of in the morning. So, which isn't ideal, but it works for right now. And I know that it's temporary. So, but Beachbody has been really helpful because I can do everything at home, literally in my basement, which is really nice. So, and they might even have like some free trials if anybody's interested in that. I'm not like a coach or trying to sell anybody or anything. But they might have like some free trials to be able to like do some stuff while this is kind of going on until you can get back to a quote unquote like normal routine at a gym. So
love that you shared that you adjusted and changed, because even though it's not ideal or it wasn't convenient for you to work out at night, like it's 100% better than just stopping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even during the shift calls, I've just been walking on, I mean, we have a treadmill in our basement. So, I mean, that definitely helps. But I just have been walking on the treadmill during the shift call. And then I also sit in on a call that Brinley Tucker hosts at 7:30 in the morning. So it's like that hour. If Chris isn't working out, I'm downstairs just listening to it while I'm walking. So.
Awesome. I find myself wanting to work out more than I normally would in a brick and mortar because CJ and I have been doing like virtual, like a Zoom with a team training scenario. So I feel like I want to do it 5 days a week instead of 3 because it's convenient and it gives me an outlet because my stress level is up here, right? And so being able to work out in my basement, it's not convenient. Maybe I'm hitting the same muscle groups, but you know what? I'm letting out a little aggression and a little stress relief, and it's good for my body. So I feel like I'm going to come out of this like super strong.
Okay, so can you send the rest of us some of that energy?
Yeah, I'm winding down
that I'm not doing at all. So
well,
we need to hold some more hip hop dance lessons. That was probably the best workout I got since this started. And it was fun.
It was fun.
This is Allison. I'm not on video. I was just kind of listening in, but I just wanted to add too, I think everyone's tips on this exercise thing is awesome. And I just wanted to add, like, for me, it's figuring out what time of day works for me. Sometimes I set goals and it's like, I don't know if I can get up early enough to do it in the morning. And I say I'm going to do it after work. And then I'm just not an after work worker-outer. I'm just tired and mentally drained. And it just kind of sucks my motivation away. So I know for myself now, if I'm going to work out or do something, I have to get up early and do it. So, for some people it might be in the morning or, a midday break or after work. But I think if you just think about what time works for you, it makes it easier and then to get into the habit of doing it. So that's kind of just what I've noticed for myself.
Yeah, I love that. Know yourself. So if you're not going to do it, like, there's no point planning it out if you know that you're not going to do it. So just trying to set up the environment best you can to give yourself the highest chance of doing what you want.
So I just shared a link to that Vicky and I have been doing, and it's this yoga that you can follow along the video. And if you're not advanced at yoga, she has, different, things that you can do instead of what she's doing. But they're good videos and they're about 30 minutes long and it's on YouTube, so it's free.
Thank you, Ashley. I love that.
Thank you.
That's the other thing too, is finding something that, you feel comfortable doing. Because I've done ones before that I found on like Amazon Prime. And I'm like, okay, this is hurting my back. And like, am I doing this right? Like, is it supposed to be hurting me? So it's kind of nice when you have ones that with regressions or progressions.
I loved even Kim. One of the calls, Kim was like, who got outside today? And I hadn't, like, at all. And it was like a beautiful day. And she ended the call with saying, like, if you haven't been outside, you need to go outside. And I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, what else do I have going on? So went outside and like, just like breathing in like fresh air and like, watching Mason run around and be crazy and like not glued to me. It was wonderful. So, but it was a reminder that like, I mean, there's definitely something to be said for getting outside. No doubt about it.
Yep. Totally agree. I feel like sometimes I don't go outside when I got the kids because it is a hassle. Like, get their coat on, get their shoes on, and then one wants to go to the bathroom. But it's like once you're outside, it's like, oh, play. Or even if you don't have kids, like just breathe in the air. And especially when it's a sunny day, letting that sunshine hit your face. Like it helps with your mindset so much.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what we've been doing. Like if it's been nice weather, we work out every day because I have the Peloton here, which I love, and their app's amazing as well. Like they have all kinds of stuff on there, yoga and weightlifting and walking and running, and now they just incorporated some dance too. But we've just decided, like, when the weather's nice, we're just gonna go outside and take advantage of it. We're gonna make it like our one thing, just because we haven't seen that many nice days since we've been in quarantine. We had like that one 69-degree day, and I think that was like almost torture, because after that then it got horrible outside. So we've just been like looking at the forecast, and if it's nice, we're going to try to spend a lot of that day outside.
Awesome. Does anybody have anything else to add kind of about exercise or creating habits? The next one I wanted to just mention was social connection. So, you know, as you guys heard, we've been told like social distancing, but no, really, it's just physical distancing. So what are some ways you guys are connecting with people and getting your necessary social connection for the day?
Well, we've been doing like some Zoom meetings with people, but the one thing that I found really interesting about this whole thing is that I'm seeing a lot more work people face to face than I think I've ever seen. Like, because a lot of people don't come into the office every day. So for instance, like the one person, like Karen Black, like she's on all these different Zooms, and I've gotten to know her much better through that. And there's just a bunch of people that I was like, there's, for, you know, all the things that we could say is horrible, but I think there's some good things about it too, because I've gotten to know a lot of people through this.
Yeah, there's definitely some positive outcomes of being connected with people we don't normally see. Like even with me and CJ and anyone else out of the Germantown office, like we don't ever really go to New Berlin, right, Ashley? I mean, maybe once a week tops, and we're just in and out to drop off checks or something. So this is actually kind of nice in some ways.
Yeah, because we get to see your face.
But just quick add to that, I had to go to the office today and pick some things up, and Allison Marr was there, and she was just picking some stuff up as well. I can't tell you how good it was, and we did physical distancing and chatted for like 2 or 3 minutes. But I was like, yes, I got to see you live and in person, not on a screen. It was awesome. So, you know, it just was chance. But yeah, I agree, you know, Tina, just because we have so many more faces, we're getting to spend more time getting to know and help each other. And that's a pretty cool relationship to build.
Yeah, because I think after this we'll come out, because I think it's always kind of been the same 20% of people that have been on these. And so I feel like coming out of this will be a stronger network or stronger group, because I'll have constantly stared at your face and your face and your face, and like I feel like I'll be more connected. Like I could say, like, Chris, you and I have talked in the office, but we haven't talked like in depth, but I've gotten to know you so much more over the last month and a half, and about your business and about your family life. So I think that's a win in my book for sure.
That's awesome. All right, well, another thing that like I do to connect with people, so like I'm just trying to be more aware of like Facebook. I do video chatting with like certain like friends every week, like just like, have I talked to them? Like, and I know that as agents, you guys are making calls and stuff, but like I'm video chatting my sister-in-law and my brother, and I'm also, like I've gotten kind of big into Snapchat because like I feel like I just need to connect with people, and like Facebook, even Instagram. Like, it's just nice to have someone on the other end, because if you imagine what this would be like if this happened before we had internet or even TV. Like, think about how like alone you would be. So I think that you can also go down a rabbit hole. So I try to only give myself certain times of the day if I want to like dig into social media, but I enjoy like taking quick pictures of myself, or here's what I'm doing, just so that it breaks up my day a little bit. And yeah, I find that that's helpful for me too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see here. How about progress with progress over perfection? Talking about like even command. Has anyone done something different with command that they hadn't before this all happened? Or maybe dug deeper into it, or I don't know, just trying to start a conversation about something that.
I think so if you've come into my office at my work, you know that we've got these huge boards that we have up that we use as kind of reminders as to buyers that we need to follow up with, sellers we need to follow up with. It's just kind of like our roadmap to our business. It's just how I've always done business. And so I've never really integrated that into command, because it's like, for me, this is what was working. And so now I don't have my boards at my home office. And so I've learned to, I started off with like a gazillion of these, right? These sticky notes. And then I found one actually stuck to my daughter's hair. And I thought, well, that's not going to work anymore. So, we've started using, in the contact feature of command, there's a whole task list. Like, you can add a task and then you can assign a date to it, and then it shows up on your task board. So we've been doing that as a follow-up and just trying to use that more. So it'll be interesting once we're back in action and at the office, if where will I lie? Will I go back to my old board, or will I go stay with command? Because we're just starting it in like the past week. So,
well, the good news is if we've got some time, then you'll already be like 36 days in.
Right. So maybe I'll have to be selling those boards on, Facebook Marketplace when I get back. So I don't know. We'll see. But that is one feature that I hadn't used before, and it is kind of interesting, because just when you log, but that it forces you have to log into command every single day. If you're not using it, some agents who have a transaction coordinator aren't necessarily using it, to go in there and keep track of transactions and stuff like that. So we don't have one, so we're in there doing it, but it forces you to log in every day. So.
I like that one. You're creating all these new habits.
Yes. Does anybody else use command? Like, what are you guys using it for right now? Kathy?
Yeah, we use it for that.
Do you?
Yeah, we use it for tasks and obviously opportunities. We don't track our opportunity tasks in there though, because I just I have extra things that I have on like a cover sheet that it's hard because I can't see all those things right now in command and opportunities. But yeah, we use that. We go a little bit into smart plans. I had one other thing I was gonna say, I forgot.
Yeah, we're doing more and more as well. I've had my contacts in there for a long time, which was not easy to do on a top producer. I had to have somebody that was really tech savvy do it. But we're using it more and more, and we hope by the end of May to get rid of top producer and have everything in there. So I am keeping notes in there when I call. I do have my clients segregated into 4 groups. So it was supposed to be 1 group each quarter. Well, now it's 1 group, it's once a month, every week I'm calling them because we're calling them once a month. So that's been really helpful. And then our assistant, we have a VA, and she did set up smart plans for the market reports and birthdays. So we are starting to use more of it, little by little. But we hope by the end of May that we don't have to pay for top producer anymore. So we're getting there. And you're right, this is time because we have a little bit more time. We're able to, do a little bit more. We'll get into, more as we go along.
Yeah, we built some smart plans in there, and we're using them. We've set everybody up on them that's in our database, and it was interesting because we did it for the ALC. I had talked about how we were building smart plans, Mike and I were, and then we were using Twilio to text our database also, which has worked out really well because you can text, all of them all at one time. And we set up our entire database. Basically, it was old Zillow leads that we did it, and we had actually resurrected a couple Zillow leads based off of those smart plans that we set up. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So, people just coming back and like, I need to talk to a lender and asking for referrals and stuff like that. So we've kind of resurrected a few of those leads. So if you haven't looked into that yet, I would suggest looking into the smart plans and building them. They're not as difficult as what they were before. Command has come leaps and bounds since it first rolled out.
Yeah, and now with them being customizable, like that's amazing, because initially some of the pre-templated things that it was saying was like, it's not really my style, or didn't really apply properly, and so now you can really just customize the heck out of it.
Right, so the whole point, the ALC, we were all going to get together right before this happened. So we were all going to get together and have like a day where we were going to build a bunch of smart plans and then share them with everybody at KW, because building them is, it's a little cumbersome to come up with the language and what do you say and, what do you put in there and when do you text and when do you call. So we were going to build them as an ALC, and then we were going to share them with everybody. So hopefully once we're back on track, we can get that back on track.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you build out, like if you have systems in place for automated or templates for your emails, like that, it takes time, but it sets you up really for the future. And when you're busy, you're like hopping.
Right. Agreed. I'm just not a great content creator. Like, I'm better at having a conversation, but when you put me in front of a keyboard and you ask me to write something, I'm like, I just I lose all sense of words. I think Kathy would be great at doing that because she's got lots of great words and a really big vocabulary. Right, Whitaker?
Hide behind the keyboard, yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna hire you as my content creator.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's also one of the things that is nice about the smart plans is it automates things a little bit, because honestly what we struggle with is if we have leads that aren't hot, that aren't going to happen more than 60 days out, we put them on the back burner and then we forget about them. Yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh, slipping through my fingers, right? And it's like,
Totally. And then it's like weird because, it goes out as a text or whatever, and then, it'll text back through command, but we get the alerts on our phone, and then even on my Apple Watch, it'll come through, and it'll be a response to my text. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know we texted out. Like, yeah, let's get on that. So it's nice. It's almost like having, a little personal assistant kind of reaching out to your database. So, once it is like the Ron Popeil, like once that content is set, you can set it and forget it. So.
I had one more thing that was command related that is progress over perfection for me. So our website, like when we first launched the new websites, we created some quick content and we never circled back to it. And I didn't create all the content. We had a transaction manager who had to leave for health insurance, but blah, blah, blah. I went back and I read through, and it's like some of the content I didn't really like, but I didn't have time to really update it. And so now it's kind of moving, you know, higher on my list of things to do. But I had to be okay with just saying, well, it's better to have a website than it perfect the exact way that I wanted, because I'm very particular. And so sometimes, you know, I get caught up in, oh, well, let me just wait until I got it perfect and then I'll put it out. So I'm proud that we had it out and it's still out and it's not perfect. I mean, it's okay, but you know.
I feel like that's where I get really bogged down too, is in the perfection. But then I often think of like the Bed Bath & Beyond coupon, right? Like there's no creativity to that at all. There's nothing, but people use it. People look for it. I find people on Facebook you know, it's just being in front of people. And in my opinion, I think sometimes just being in front of people and being there when you need them. So create like the content maybe isn't always just as important as just like, I always laugh if I could just like send a picture of my face all the time, like just have my face on my you know, would that be just as effective as some like really great, like, I'm your real estate professional, you know, like this huge, big, long biography about it? I don't know, but I'm with you where I feel like it needs to be perfection all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, well, we're kind of at our time here, so I just wanted to thank you guys all for your participation. I just thought, you know, what I could bring to the call would maybe just be talking about normal things. And so talking about progress over perfection, because right now, if we try to be perfect in everything with all these different parts of our lives intersecting and our normal being pretty much turned upside down, most likely in some form or another, like we would just not get anywhere. And then where will we be in 6 months? So yeah, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we are a little closer to the weekend, so.
And our cocktails, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Shelly, thank you.
Kelly, thank you.
Thanks, Shell.
Thank you.
Good job.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, all.